All right. Good evening once again, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have to start because of time. Um, so what I'm going to do is to start all over because that last class, the network wasn't favorable, so we have to just start afresh. So we agreed that we should start JavaScript all over. I know that for some of us here, we have gone a little bit far on JavaScript because of some of us that are lacking behind. So I agreed in that last class that we start JavaScript afresh. So based on that, I'll be looking at the following topics, if possible, within the 2 hours we have in this session. We'll look at general introduction to JavaScript. We'll look at how to set up JavaScript file. Also look at how to link external JavaScript file with the rendering documents, which is the HTML. We'll also talk about comments. Generally in programming, why do we use comments? We'll also talk about variables. We'll look at what is a variable. We'll look at the variable concepts, how to declare it, and also explain the syntax. So along the line, we are going to look at some JavaScript output functions. So quickly, let me start with the definition of JavaScript. Now, I would like to take us a little bit back to where we started from so that we can connect everything together. If you can still remember when we started this training, web development, I highlighted different ends of a website and the respective languages or programming languages that are responsible for building or developing these ends. We did mention that we have the front end of a website, which is also known as the user's end. And the user's end comprises of web pages, and these web pages constitute the contents we are advertising to the users. We also talk about the back end, which is known as the administrative section of every website, where the entire website, including the front end, is being administered. Now, having explained that, we also talk about the languages for developing each of these ends. We explained that the front end, or for you to be a front end developer, it is a must that you learn 3 languages. Out of the 3, one of them is a core programming language, while the other ones are supportive languages. So we started looking at HTML as the markup language. In other words, a language that helps us to define the entire structure of our websites using the contents across different pages, like the images, texts, links, video, audio, and the rest of them. We also talk about the CSS, which is also one of the supporting language for developing the front end of a website, but focuses on decorating the content within our web pages, or specialize on determining the presentation of those contents. In other words, for those content to look appealing to the users, we need CSS to help us style them, probably to give some of them color, resize them, and lay out them. So all of this can be done with CSS. Now, this is where JavaScript comes in, which is one of the most used front-end development language that we are going to zero on in this section. So JavaScript comes in to add interactivity to those contents that the HTML must have added or created, and the CSS must have as well what style. So the role of JavaScript is just to add action, and that is why we sometimes describe JavaScript as the action language in web development, the language that gives life to your entire website, the language that makes your website content to be interactive. So in other words, the interactivity of your website is simply mean the communication, how the elements or the content are reacting. So that can be referred to as the interactivity. And outside that, we did also define JavaScript as a programming language. It's a core programming language which is used to build web application. So this is one language that actually qualifies us as software developer, because we can create applications. The only difference between the app we build with JavaScript and the app a conventional programmer build is our own are embedded in a website, while their own can stand alone, like OPay does not require hosting it in a website. For all the apps we build in web development, they are apps that are expected to be integrated within a website. All right, so having said that, now let's quickly look at the proper definition of the JavaScript. So JavaScript is a high-level, dynamic, and interpreted programming language. It's a high-level, interpreted, high-level, dynamic, and interpreted programming language. So as I proceed, I am going to break some of these terms down so that you understand why they are used in defining JavaScript. So that is primarily used for client side. So that is the keyword in case you are writing. That is primarily used for client side scripting. Now, let's us digest some of these terms. I want to start with the one that matters at the moment, which is the client side scripting. The client side of a website is the same thing as the visitor's end of a website. Now, once a user open a browser and type www.digitexzilhub.com, the user will be driven to a landing page where we must have said something about Digitexi Hub without the users logging in with a password. So which means that the front end is actually open to everyone. It is only the back end that require logging in details. So what we are saying is that that front end, professionally, we can refer to it as the client side. There are two terms we need to understand. The time that describe the back end, just like just describe the front end as the client side. The back end is defined or described also as the server side. So we need to understand these two terms as a web developer. Okay, I believe that is clear. So now when we say it is primarily used for client-side scripting on the web, so now you understand what I am talking about. So in other words, JavaScript is used when you are developing the front end. Though we have a server these days, our JavaScript has developed to the extent of even using it for the back end. But if you are using JavaScript for the back end, then you are going to involve its server, which is called node.js. But if you are talking about JavaScript pure language, it is restricted to the front end development. So let me get a response. I want to know if you are following. Can anybody unmute and respond? I want to know if we are getting what I'm explaining.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now that now how does JavaScript achieve what we have described so far? It doesn't achieve it on its own. It achieves this with the help of or alongside with the markup language, which is the HTML, and the CSS, which is the styling language. So these are facts we need to establish as we proceed. Now, we have spoken about IDE, which I just want to paraphrase because I know it has been a while. As programmers, we need to understand that we need an environment to be able to write our code and also to test the code, which is classified as execution of your code. And that is the reason why we have the Visual Studio Code, which we are all familiar with. Now, I want to quickly set up the Visual Studio Code before I continue with the JavaScript explanation, so that some of the things I'll be talking about, I want to see how we can be practicalizing them. So of course, we all know that to start a project, we are expected to create a folder that we organize all our resources in one place. So to do that, I thought I've created a folder last time. If I can find it here, I think I have created a folder. If I have not, so I had to quickly create one. Let me just check.
It's web_projects, the name of the folder.
Is it web?
The one you sent in your last video.
Okay, let me just open. I have a web underscore. Okay, I think you are correct. So now once you have created a folder, and then you have to plug in the folder here so that you can reach out to all the resources while you are developing locally. So the first thing I am going to do is to call the folder in. So how do I go about that? Go to File and then select Open Folder. And then that opens up your system storage dialog box. So from here, I will simply navigate to desktop where I have the folder and then locate the folder web underscore project. Just select it and make sure that the name appears here and then click on folder. Then you have it inserted right in your development environment. So these are some of the previous file. So I am not actually sure that that is the file, or that might be the previous one we're using. So let me delete this and start all over so that we can understand the beginning. All right, so we have added some key folders. We added CSS for holding all our CSS code, and then we added image folder for holding all our images. And of course, we have JavaScript. So since we are learning JavaScript, remember I said JavaScript does not work alone. It works alongside with other two languages, which are still the front-end development languages. So for that reason, we have to start by creating the HTML file. And the HTML file should not be created inside any of the subfolder. Instead, it should be created in the main folder. So I will ensure that my file structure or my file, this arrow faces down to indicate that right now we are directly in the main folder. So I'll go to file and then I'll create a file which is going to be named as index.html. Now, there's a reason why we need HTML, because HTML is the element that will help us to render our JavaScript actions via the browser. It's like the container that you are, or the elements you are building JavaScript on. Remember when I started, I said JavaScript is for adding action to those contents. So that is, you must have created an element with your HTML, which could be an image or text or even link, before thinking of adding certain action to it with the JavaScript. So of course, just to turn on the HTML default file, I will just type HT and then I'll select the version. So I think I need to reduce it a little so that we can see the entire interface. All right, so now that I have a file, I want to go back to the explanation, and then I will now come back and continue from where I stop right now. At least I have an interface where I can be using to explain some of the terms. So let's quickly look at what is comments. Comment, because I'll be using comment to explain whatever I'll be doing. Okay, so let's start by understanding what is comment in programming generally, not just JavaScripts. Generally, comments are used for explaining code, either to yourself or to the third party, where you are working as team in a company, whether physically or remotely. You have to learn how to use comment to explain your own part of the code written to the next person you are passing the code to, so that the person will not have to be calling you every now and then to explain what you wrote. So it is very important we start this learning by understanding what comment is. So I've explained that comments are just for explaining code. Another fact that explain comments is that comments are non-executable statements or scripts. They are not executable. So what you are typically telling the language is that do not bother yourself about this section. In other words, do not execute it. This is just for me to understand what I am doing. So the next question we should be asking ourselves is that in JavaScript, how do we declare comment, or what sign denotes or represents comment? So if I'm given bunch of codes, and how will I be able to know this is comment line, this is the live code? Now, once you press Shift as Control and the / on your keyboard, you are going to get this kind of symbol. Now, this is the comment symbol in HTML. Okay, so whatever you write inside it is non-executable statement. It's just for explanation. For example, the topic I'm talking about is what? Introduction. Introduction to JS. So that is comment. That is comment. Now, if I create JavaScript section within this HTML file, which is called internal JavaScript file, and activate that same comment, you will notice that the symbol will change. So for us to be able to speak JavaScript in the same file with HTML, that is, we are embedding JavaScript in HTML document. For us to be able to do that, the principle says that all your HTML file must come first before what? The JavaScript. So as we proceed, I will tell us the core reason why you shouldn't write JavaScript before HTML. Instead, HTML should come first before the JavaScripts. So these are some of the things we need to understand. Now, if you want to write JavaScripts in your HTML, when we're learning CSS, for us to be able to create internal CSS, we have to activate this style tag, if you can still remember. And then we wrote all our CSS within that word style tag, which means that that style tag, it is a tag which we use in initiating CSS right in HTML file. That same concept is what we want to do, but in the case of JavaScript, you have to come just before the closing body section, which means that the program must have run all the HTML before it gets to what? JavaScript. So now there is a tag also, which is called what? Scripts, for introducing JavaScript within HTML document. Now, you can see that as soon as I type the SCR, it brought out scripts and what? Scripts and source or path. Now, if I want to write JavaScript here, I need to go with this. Sorry, just a minute. So if I want to write JavaScript directly in this HTML document, I need to go with this. So in a moment, I'm going to tell us when to use this. So if I click here, and then I have to expand it, sorry, which shows that as far the whole of this document is concerned, the whole of this section has been set apart, aside, just for communicating JavaScript. That's what you are saying. Now, let me try and activate comment. Why I am creating all this within the same file so that you can easily compare and contrast. So if I press that same control and /, you see the kind of comment. But when I press it within HTML, look at what I get. So once you see this symbol, This is comment symbol in JavaScript, while this is comment in HTML. Now, if I strike that same two button, that is, everything I have inside that style is CSS. Now, let's see CSS comment notation. Can you see it now? So you should be able to differentiate comment in CSS, comment in HTML, and comment in JavaScript. Any question? I believe I have explained the concept of comments. I want to get a response if we are good before I move to the next topic. Is it clear?
That this comment that is inside body, that is before the script, that is saying introduction to JavaScript.
Yeah.
Is it for JavaScript or the two
No.
of them there is for
The two of
HTML?
them here, they are for HTML. That is what I'm trying to explain. Looking at the symbol, this is the symbol that represents HTML comment. Why this double
Oh,
forward slash JavaScript? Why this one slash and asterisk is what uh CSS. Is that clear now?
yes, I understand. I
Okay,
understand.
so that is exactly the point I want to register so that when you see comment in JavaScript, you should be able to differentiate it. All right, so now that we understand the concept of comment, let us quickly complete. Now, I'll be using comment to write the heading of my discussion. So what are we discussing right now since we are in JavaScript? So I'm using this comment. So I'm going to talk about a key feature. Key feature. I want to talk about some of the key feature in JavaScript, in JS. Key features in JavaScript. So it's like she's having now. Okay, she's back. So key features in JavaScript. Let me quickly talk about that in a moment before we go into the next topic. Now, when we say feature, we are talking about kind of characteristics, what makes up. And it is very important to understand this feature. If not, we will not be able to understand the essence of this program or to differentiate it from other related program. So one of the key feature of JavaScript is client side execution. Client side execution. That is one of the key feature. What does that mean? Just to explain it. It means that JavaScript code runs on the client web browser, which is the front end. So the JavaScript code that we are going to write, where are they going to be executed? Where are they going to run? They are not going to run on the back end. They are going to run at the front end. That is one of the key feature of it, rather than on the server. So your JavaScript file or code does not run in a server. Instead, they run on what? The client side. Let's get that fact registered. So the next JavaScript key feature is dynamic typing. Dynamic typing. So this is another key feature we need to understand. So what does it mean when we say a program is dynamic typing? What does that translate to in programming? So what it means is that JavaScript is dynamically typed, which means that you do not need to declare the data type of a variable before using it. Let me repeat it. It means JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, which means that you do not need to declare the data type of a variable before using it. So in a moment, we are going to talk about variable, but pending when we focus on variable. I just want you to know that variables are like containers that we create within the program memory just for holding values that will be needed in the course of the programming. So if we are saying that for you to create such storage or container, you do not need to tell JavaScript that this is text, this is number, this is Boolean. JavaScript factors that out itself. That is what we are saying. It means that what is dynamic in nature. It finds out by itself. As you are writing that data, it's factoring out the type of data it is. Unlike the old programming languages, where before you store a number or a string in this case means text, you have to use any of the language constructors. For example, this is what we are saying. If we are to be those old languages that like Java and C#, if you want to create variable that will store number, you have to say, okay, let's say the name of the variable is num, then you will now do int. You will now do int like this. You now do int, which is the constructor, before you store 90 inside. But we don't need that in JavaScript. What we are saying is that JavaScript will automatically detect the type of data you are storing. So you can just say num and then equals to 90 is the same thing. So you going this way is the old method. So once you store a value in a variable, JavaScript finds out itself whether that value is an integer or is a string or it is a Boolean or even undefined. Please, I want to get a rest. I want to know if someone is following with this explanation before I proceed. Are we following? I can't hear the person that... are we following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So please, you can use the reaction.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can use the reaction button just in case you have any question, or you can just unmute yourself. Once I hear you speaking, we stop and listen to you. If you keep quiet, it means all is going well. That is my assumption. All right, so we are still talking about, so I believe now you understand when we say JavaScript is what? Dynamically typed programming language. So another key feature of JavaScript is the first class function. First class functions. So let me hold on for a few minutes for her to join back. It's like she's having now.
Yes, sir.
All right. So like I was saying, we're about looking at the third key feature of JavaScript, which I said is first class functions, which means that the functions are top notch. That is what it means. So just to explain it better, JavaScript functions or functions in JavaScript are treated as first class citizens. Just to tell you how important, how powerful the functions in JavaScript could be if they are treated as first class citizen. Okay, which means that they can be passed around like any other variables. So the last key feature of JavaScript before we go to the next topic is objects. Objects oriented. Object oriented. So in other words, JavaScript's language is an object programming language. Now, what does that mean? It means that JavaScript supports object-oriented programming, which is generally known as O. So, just to break it down a little bit so that we can understand when we say a programming language is an object-oriented language. Now, when programming started, it was very tedious. It was not as packaged the way it is today. For example, now, the program memory were excessively used those days. That is, for you to be able to, let's say you want to program the entire laptop as an object now, you have to start creating variable to store all the parts. And then that is why the applications of those days happen to be very slow in nature compared to the application we have today, because most of the programming languages that are being used today for programming, they are OOPs. They are what? Object-oriented programming languages that can hold multiple data structure. That is, the entire laptop can be, stored in one variable, but it wasn't like that those days. So as we proceed, we are going to understand better. Now, let's quickly, I will just paraphrase. I'm not going to dwell much on this one because it's an aspect that we can easily research on or that are visible. So let's quickly look at some of the common use of JS. Common use or common uses of JS. So in other words, we are talking about, or I want to explain to us different areas where the knowledge of JavaScript can be useful. Number one is web development, and that is the reason why we are learning it right now. So in other words, we are learning JavaScript to build websites. Now, we also have the front-end developments, which I've explained, one of the aspects. So for any developer that wants to create front end of website or the user's end of a website, he or she is expected to learn JavaScript. That is what we are saying. Now, back-end development also require usage of JavaScript. So JavaScript is used to create dynamic and interactive user interface. That is for the front-end development. Then for the back-end development, Node.js, which I mentioned before, allow JavaScript to be used for server-side programming, creating RESTful APIs and real-time application. Now, mobile app development. So if you want to go into mobile app, JavaScript is also widely used there. JavaScript can be used to create mobile apps using frameworks like React Native and PhoneGap. All these are, when we say framework, we are talking about library. A library is like a compilation of some scripts. So in other words, you are not actually learning the language purely. The language has been used to develop some functions. So what you are doing, you are leveraging on those developed functions and you are using it to speak the language. That is what we mean by the framework. So which means that JavaScript is applied in mobile development, not directly, but through that platform where each script must have been compiled. And then you just only learn how to navigate and how to exploit them within that framework. So let's quickly look at based on the topic. So if I may recap, we are done with the general introduction. And then I said we're also going to be looking at JavaScript file creation. So that is the one I want to quickly focus on right now. So how do we set up JavaScript file? That's the first thing after understanding holistically what the program is all about. So the next thing is for you to know, okay, how do I start? When we started HTML, the first thing I taught us was how to create a root folder, how to create HTML file. Now that you want to write JavaScript, how do you start it? Now, there are two ways, or let's say three ways, you can write JavaScript code. There are three ways you can write JavaScript code. So the first method is the inline, just like the way we have it in CSS, if you can still remember. So let's say what? JavaScript file creation. Now, I am not going to implement the inline because there are certain things you need to learn before you can understand adding JavaScript inline. So the best place to learn it is when I get to that aspect. But let me quickly teach us how to create internal JavaScript and external. Internal, I have already explained it. All you need for internal is to add this script tag before the closing body section. That is all. So all your JavaScript are written here. This is internal JavaScript file. So let's quickly look at the external JavaScript file. Now, what do we mean by external? Just like the CSS and the external CSS and the external HTML, if you can still remember. Okay, so what we explained then was that external means you are totally separating the HTML file from the JavaScript file. And we explained then that it is the best practice. Why? Because it enhances debugging. And what is debugging? Debugging is when you write code and the code generates some errors. So for you to be able to decode the errors, provide solution, that is debugging. Okay, you are trying to remove the error from the code, which leads to providing solutions. So when you write the HTML code and the JavaScript code in the same place, when you are having issue with your code, it becomes difficult for you to isolate, to even know which one is actually generating that problem. That is why the best practice is that there should be external system. So how do we create external JavaScript? We have already created HTML file. And then remember that we created a folder just to hold all our JavaScript. So now we have to deploy that folder. So how do I go in that folder before I create my file? I will click on the arrow of it and then make sure that it's facing down and then navigate to the new file icon and then type, let's say, JavaScript dot, the extension is JS. That is the extension. Then you click outside. Now we have the file created. Okay, now since we are working with external file, there is need for both of them to be linked. We need to connect the two files. And the order of the connection is that you go back to the rendering document. Let me break it down for you so that you know why you have HTML file and then you still went ahead to create your JavaScript. The reason is that you just acknowledge as a programmer that when you finish writing your JavaScript, you cannot right click and see any of those servers that are used to run our scripts on the browser. For example, now live server, you can't see it here. Just like the way you could not run your CSS. Each time you want to see the appearance of your CSS, we have to go back to the HTML file and run it. Okay, so the same thing with JavaScript. So in other words, you are using HTML to render. You are using HTML to display what you are doing, either in CSS or JavaScript, to the users. So why did I create this HTML? In order to help me to render my JavaScript function. So now all my JavaScript functions will be written here, and then their action, what they will be producing, will be, displayed to user via this HTML document. That is what we are simply saying. So for that reason, it means that this is like the principal. This is the one that the browser listens to directly. So for that reason, we have to come back to the HTML. And then, since it's external, we do not need that script. Now, I want to explain the difference between the scripts that I just deleted and the one I'm about to create. In fact, let me just create two of them. The difference between this and this. Now, this one is for internal script, which means that you want to write JavaScript right in your HTML. Now, if I want to connect, if I'm working with external JavaScript, then I have to use this. Now, which means that the SROC, all the way from image tag concept, video tag concept, we should have known that this is an attribute which denotes the URL, the destination. That is, so what you are expected to do here is to make sure that you go in between the value section of that attribute and type and press the / in your keyboard. And then what that will do is to display all the directories within your website file structure. So from here, you should be able to navigate to where you are going. Remember that the JavaScript file was created inside it. So which means I have to come here and then click here. So what has been established right now is that if I'm writing JavaScript here, I can render it with this HTML file. Any question, please, before I proceed? Is everything okay? Let me get a response before I proceed. Any question? Any question? Any question? Please feel free to ask question if you are not clear with any of my explanation. Are we still here?
Sir, please can you explain the explanation again? I recap.
Yes, we are talking about external JavaScript establishment. And I said external means you have your JavaScript file separated from your rendering file, which is the HTML. So what we did is that we went inside this JavaScript folder and navigate on it, and then created a file which gave us this. Now we already have this. So I said, since the two files are separated and what we are doing here will be rendered through this file, then there is need for visibility. Both of them have to be visible. So for that to be possible, I said you go to the HTML, just before the closing body, you use this script tag that has a SROC, which denotes the paths, or which is used to define the URL where the JavaScript file is. And then, just like the way we connect our CSS, and then once you write the / the / is going to output all your file structure. So from there, you navigate to JavaScript and then be able to link it. Is that clear? I hope it's clear to you now. Let's concentrate.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's quickly test it. It's not just creating it. So once you are done like this, you test it to see whether the two files are communicating. So I will come back to my JavaScript and create variable. So this is where variable comes in. So right now, I'm going to use one stone to kill two birds. Now, variable is coming now. Variable in JS. Because once we create that variable, we will now run it and use it to confirm if the two files are connected. So how do we define variable in JavaScript? So variables are containers used for holding values. Simple as that. So the concept is this. You ask yourself, you want to, let's say I want to program an app. I want to program an app, and that app requires certain information, certain data. For example, now for me to successfully create that app, I need to mention Prosper. I need to mention his age, let's say 90 years. I need to mention his state, let's say Delta State. I need to mention his country, let's say Nigeria. So the question I will ask myself as a programmer, since these information will be required in developing that app, are these information already built in JavaScript memory? The answer is no. So the next question is that, so how do I acknowledge this information within the program memory so that I have somewhere where, in case I'm writing a code and I get to where I need Prosper, I can always call it from. As I'm writing that same program, when I get to where I need age, Prosper age, I call it from somewhere. As I'm still writing that program, when I get to where I need Prosper state or country, I can access it from the program memory. So in other words, we can define variable as a programming logic which is used to introduce external information into the program system. Did you get that? I said variable can be logically defined as a way of introducing external information into the program system or the program memory. So let's quickly look at variable declaration. So in other words, how do we write variable? That is the meaning of what? Variable declaration. How do we write variable? Variable declaration. How do we write it? Do we understand the syntax? The word syntax in programming means set of rules. Set of rules that govern the way the program is written. So every programmer must understand these terms. Sometimes you not writing the right syntax might be the reason why some errors will be generated. So all you need to do is just to put your syntax. So in a simple term, syntax means the formats. So when I said variable declaration syntax, I am saying variable writing formats. So variable has three parts which you must acknowledge, otherwise it becomes incomplete variable, and that will throw an error. So anytime you want to declare variable, always understand that three parts makes up variable. So let me just say what? Variable has three what? Parts. And what are the parts? Number one is the variable name parts. Okay. Then number two is a variable value assignments. And then the number three is what? Variable value. Variable value. Variable value. If someone should still comment in the group that the class is still going on. Now, variable value. Now, let's quickly identify them, these three parts. So the task given to you and I as programmer is create. You want to say something? Okay. Okay. You have question? Go ahead. Or it's a mistake?
No question, sir.
All right. So now create. So this is like I want to cite a scenario like we are given a task so that you know when to use variable. Now, let's say as a programmer, you are asked to create an app, create an app, create an app that stores different information, e.g., first name, comma, middle name, and age. Let's say we are to create an app that stores this information. Now, the question is that this app requires first name, it requires middle name, and also what? Age. So I need to capture them with variable. So I will start with, now when you are declaring variable in JavaScript, there are what we call what? Variable keywords, which you need to understand. Variable what? Keywords. So what does that mean? These are like constant, or let me say, these are the keyword means what? Words that have already been used to store function. So these are functions which we use in initiating, introducing to accompany variable. So whenever variable wants to come out, you use them to introduce it. That is what it look like. So for example, now we have them like we have let's, we have var, and then we have costs in JavaScript. So if I want to create 3 variables, one is going to store my first name, the second one is going to store my middle name, and the last one will store my age. So it's going to be let's, for example, let's, I will say first name, I will use camel case. I believe you understand what I mean by camel case. The first word will be lowercase or true. Then every other word that follow, the first character of it will be in capital letter. That is camel case. Now, let's first name, middle name, comma, and the age. So what you just did now is like you went to the market and then you just bought 3 empty buckets or containers. That is what you did. So in programming or in JavaScript programming, this is just like you just created 3 empty storage without putting value. Now, your intention is that, okay, let me create those rooms first, and the rooms are empty. Now, I want to start assigning value into them. I want to start dropping content inside these 3 what? Variables or container. So let's first name, middle name, empty. Okay, so now you now say that where first name, you will now start, because we have typed it, it will have been recognized in the program. Once you type the first 2 letters, it will bring it out. Where first name, now we want to assign. So this equal sign in JavaScript or in programming generally, it means an assignment. That is this section now. Here, the name, is this, while here is the equal sign. The single equal sign means assignment. The double equal sign means equality. Let's get that right in programming. Okay? Now, what you are indirectly saying is that this is like the pipe that is going to carry the value and put it inside this container. Name what? First name. So what you are storing in, or what you want to store in the container, determine the rules for storing it. That is where data types comes in. So if you look at what we want to capture within the program, first name is a string, is a text. Anything tests is called what? String. And if it is string, it must carry what? The double quotation or the single. That is how we recognize string or text in JavaScript and almost in other programming languages as well. So which means that I will just envelope it in what? So as I continue, anytime I say string, I want to create string, it means I want to create a text. And for that reason, it's going to be quoted. So my first name is Prosper. So I've created a variable like as is being said here. Now, in JavaScript, you must terminate your code. You must come to the point where you tell JavaScript that this is the end of this line 8 of my code. How do you denote that? You put semicolon like this. Now you go to the next line. You assign. Remember that we have declared the variable. What we are doing right now, we are just assigning value. So in programming, this is not first name equals to what? Prosper. No, that is not what we are saying. What we are saying is that what? Prosper as a value is assigned to what? First name. So the next one is the middle name. Middle name is still what? String. So now I can use what? Double quotes. Sorry, equals to have to come here. Double quotes so that you understand that it also works. Now, middle name is, let's say, Aguero. All right. Remember what I just told you now. You must always end with what? Semi what? Colon. To show that you have terminated that line. It should not continue running. Now, the next one is age. Age is equals to, now age is a number. In programming, we have a data type called number, just like the way we have string. Like I said, strings are text-based, are character-based data type. While number are integer or floating. We are going to understand that when I start talking about it properly. Now, this variable is a string variable. So if I want to explain it, I'll say what? This is what? String variable. Why this is still what? String variable. Now, the one I'm about to create, which is this now, this is integer or number, integer or number variable. Okay, now a variable is described after the contents, what is holding. Practical example. When you buy an empty basket or a bucket, is an empty bucket. The moment you put water inside, it changes its description. It becomes what? Water container. Once you remove that water and put sand inside it, it changes its own name to what? Sand. So that's why I said the content in the variable is what determines, that is what I tried to explain here. So why did I refer to this as string? Because this variable is storing what? String as data type. Why did I refer to this one as integer? Because it's storing what? Whole number. If it's storing, for example, now, if I do something like this, 90.6, then this integer will be removed. It will now be what? Floats or double. Float or double variable once it carried the decimal point. Now, we have just created this variable. In other words, as we proceed henceforth, in JavaScript memory, Prosper is acknowledged. Eguero is acknowledged. This is acknowledged. So in the course of my programming, if any time I want to display Prosper, instead of me rewriting it, I will just call first name. That is what we are doing. Any question? Please, if you have question. Any
No,
question?
sir.
Do we have question?
No, sir.
Okay, so if you don't have question, how many of us are joining with our laptops? Mrs. Constance, are you joining with your laptop? Flourish, are you joining with your laptop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you written any code as I'm teaching?
No. I'm just jotting down.
Okay, so so that we can cover much, keep jotting down. Please, everybody should be jotting down. Then your assignment is to replicate everything. On a serious note, please, this time around, let's be serious with our assignment. You should be able to complete the assignment before we continue. I think we agree that I don't know, except if we have a full house acceptance, we agree that because we couldn't meet last time, we should augment it with either that is tomorrow evening. But if I get full house consent on that, I can create it. But if I do not, then it means that you have to make sure that you practice everything we are going to touch. And meanwhile, you have to continue, you have to go back to your HTML and start bringing up that your project, because whatever we are learning here, we are expected to what? To apply it on those contents that will have been created and styled with HTML and CSS. Okay, so that will not take much of our time. So I believe you are writing down. I will have said I should give us some time to do some classwork. Or what do you think? Should I continue or I should pause? Allow us to practice. So since you are going to have access to the video, you should just continue. You sit down and go through it. What do you think?
Anyone works.
Okay. Mrs. Constance, we are not hearing you. Are you sure you are here?
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Have you executed any code so far?
So I'm here.
Yes. I'm asking, have you executed any code
Yes.
so far?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So,
No, I'm having little challenge with my code environment.
okay. Maybe you share your screen. Let's see. That is the reason why you have to share your screen so that we can correct it together. Now go ahead and share your screen quickly.
So I sit now.
So what is the challenge? Tell us what you are trying to do that you have not been able to do.
Before I removed it, if I want to open a new folder, I will see my previous class inside the Visual Studio environment. The Python class, I will see it there.
Okay, so now you are not able to see it. You have to call in. Can you identify the folder that you are expecting to be here on desktop or any other place? Can you identify it? Don't close here. Don't close here. Just minimize and go and show us where it is. Let's see the folder first together. I want to be sure that no, that is not minimized button. Minimize. Yes. Minimize. So where is the folder? Which file is this? Close all this. I want to see your graphical user interface. Close this. I hope Flourish should also be coding while we are taking this time.
Sir, please, can you show me your screen? So I'll just screenshot.
Okay. Oh yeah. Are you okay?
No, I'm coming, sir. It's not being clear. Sir, you can unshare.
Okay. Ms. Costa, please go ahead with yours. Share your own. Let's quickly rectify it. Meanwhile, Flourish should continue.
Hello, sir.
To code. Yeah, I'm with you. I can hear you, man. Go ahead.
So what next will I do now?
I'm not seeing your screen yet. Just unshare and share again. Unshare and share again so I can guide you through.
Network on.
I'm waiting. Share your screen. Share your screen. Just reshare so that we can see you.
I'm not hearing you.
Flourish, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
That means from my end. If you can't hear me, you can log out, Ms. Constant. You cannot hear me. Log out and log in again. The network is from your end. If Flourish can hear me.
So what did you say before?
Can you hear me now?
It's breaking small.
Log out and log in again. The network is from your end. Flourish can hear me. Please, Flourish, chat her up on WhatsApp. That she should log out and log in again. She cannot still hear me.
I can hear you now.
Okay. I said she
I will log out from the Zoom.
If you can hear me now, there is no need. Go ahead and share your screen. I can't see your screen yet.
Okay. Can you see it?
It's not up yet, but it's coming up. I can't see it yet. Hope it's not there. Okay. It's here now. Oh yeah. Now, where is the folder you are trying to call in your Visual Studio Code? Where is the folder? Can I see the folder? The network is disturbing you.
This one. But I'm not seeing my HTML again inside this one now.
Where is the folder? Navigate to the folder. Let me see it. Which of the folder? I want you to touch it. Don't open it on desktop. Just go back to your desktop and I want to identify the folder with you first. Is it the web project?
Yes.
Or yeah, go back to Visual Studio Code.
I opened this one. I'm trying to open this one new now.
Or yeah, go back to Visual Studio Code. Don't worry. Go back to Visual Studio Code. Let's be fast about that. Go back to Visual Studio Code. Don't know if your network is still. Go back to Visual Studio Code. Close this place. Go back to Visual Studio Code. I know that is the right thing you should have done since. Flourish, hope you are writing.
Yes, sir.
Share your screen. Let me stay on your screen before she comes back.
Okay, sir. Where is it?
Refuse, can you hear us now?
Yes, yes, sir.
And next time when you are having network issue like that, you log out and log in. Okay, okay, this is what you have written. Okay. Okay,
Yes, sir.
let's go back to our screen quickly so that we can help her out. Okay, your screen is
So I
coming.
should share.
Yes, yes. Just
Okay, I've rectified.
Mrs. Constant, your own is coming up. Just
I can continue my jest from here now, Abi.
yes, I want to see your screen first. It's still, I don't know why it's taking time to open. Just hold on. Oh, she's out. Okay. So you are able to. Okay, perfect. Perfect.
So I can write my JS here.
Yes, you have to create JS file there. Click there and add a file. Click and make sure that the arrow is facing down. The arrow should be facing down. Then go and add file. No, up, go up and add file. No, up. That good. Yeah, click there. Are you sure that is it? That is not. No. That is not the place now. You are at
another one.
the first one you click before. Look at where you're. See, you need to understand. You need to understand.
down.
You need to understand your file structure. That is not the one.
Web project.
Good. You need to know the ones attached to the folder you are working. Good. Click there. Click there.
So how will I delete these two that I open?
You will go and delete them from. No, those ones are the up there now. You can delete them. You can see the cancel button there. If you hover on there, you see the cancel. If you click on the file, delete them from here. Look at it here from the file section. Just click there. Just clear them off.
Okay.
Now, have you added the one under JS? No. Good. Or you type maybe java.js. Any name, but let the extension end with JS. Don't use capital letter.
Okay.
Don't use capital letter. Just give it any name. Let's say you can use JavaScript.js. Then you click outside. Click outside, just like the way you create your HTML document now.
Okay.
Now you go back to your
Thanks,
HTML and connect it. Go back to the HTML file. Before the closing body, go to where you have the closing button. No. Go down. Good. Before the closing button, make sure you are not in any of good. Click there. Click there where you type scripts. Type scripts. The one with SROC. No. You can't use this one because you created a standard JavaScript. Delete this one. The one that comes with SROC so that you can link it. Type it again. Scripts. The last one, the last option. Go and click on the last option from what came out. Click on it. Good.
Slash.
Yes. /. Good. Navigate to that your file. JavaScript file. Yes, click there. No, click on the folder. So which means that your JavaScript file was not created inside the JS. Go and collapse it. Let's see. You know that arrow that you clicked the other time that makes it to go down. Click on it. Let me see what will happen. So you can see that the JavaScript wasn't added inside. Maybe that time you were clicking on this one. So it means that the JavaScript is directly inside the root folder. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you want to make sure that the file is inside the JavaScript folder, you have to go and right-click on that.
How will I correct it now?
Delete that one. Go and right-click on that one. No, not from there. Good. Right-click on it there. Not from there. Not from there. From here. Go to the JavaScript file, not the folder. That one you save with. Good. Right-click on it. Right-click on it. Look for delete. The last option. Delete it. Yes. Click on move to recycle bin. Now, collapse that JavaScript folder again. Let me show that we are inside. That arrow that is facing down, go and click on it again. Each time I say collapse, that is what I'm referring to. Click on it again. Let it face down. Now,
It's down now.
go to the add new file. Go to the add new file. Good. Yeah, click. Click. Are you right clicking or you are clicking?
Click on new file.
Click.
No. Left click.
You are right clicking. I did not tell you to right click. Don't click on anything here. Make sure we are go and click on it again, the icon.
Left click.
Yes, we were creating, you see, you have forgotten, you were doing this for CSS now. Or you type your file name. That Java, that one that you deleted, just give it a java.js or javascript.js. .js, good. Or click outside. Click outside. Let's find out. No, your dots is not .js, so go and right click on it again. I can't see the file. The file wasn't created. Here is the file. Don't know. Hey, God.
And the file join with it.
Well. Now, what you do now, right click on it, right click on that and delete everything, delete the folder. Right click, right click, right click. Right click, where you are now, right click. Then delete.
I should delete.
Go ahead and delete the same way you did the other one. Yes, good. Now, we are going to create a folder now. Over on that icon, that's your project. That's your web. That's your web now. That's your web. That's your web project. Not from there. From that same place where you just deleted file from. Over on it, there should be an icon for creating folder inside. I don't know how you call it in. We are always seeing the icon for adding a file. There should be an icon where click on it again. Let's see. Don't worry. Navigate to those icons. That is for folder. Oh, no wonder. That one is for folder. It's not even file. No wonder it was creating. What we are supposed to click on is file. God, how do I correct this now? See, don't right click. Leave here. Let me see something. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I want to verify if you can hear me first. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Now, listen.
I can hear you, sir.
I'm going to do it now so that because you are not getting it fast as we are directing you. So I'm going to do it. Then you follow that same step to correct your own. Just watch my screen. Just watch my screen. This is what you are having issue with. Let me create a new folder. Let's say we. Now, this folder now, you open your Visual Studio Code, you go to File, you select Open Folder, and then I'll go to where I created the desktop, and then
I'm not seeing your screen.
You are having so many network issues. Let me share again and share. Please confirm once you can see my screen. Let me know. Can you see it now? She's out.
Recording in progress.
Can you see my screen now? Please verify if you can see my screen, please.
I can see it.
But I want us to be able to see it. Mrs. Constant, can you see my screen? She's the one who wants to assist, so she needs to see the screen first. Can you see my screen?
Hello, sir.
Can you see my screen?
Network.
You change your network now. If you are using MTS, switch to Glo.
It's from your side, sir.
No, it's not from my side. It's not from my side. Flourish can hear me now, right?
Flourish.
Flourish, can you hear me?
Flourish.
I can hear the two of you.
So it's from your side. Change your network. It's obvious now. You have been timing out since. You should know that it's from your side. Can you hear me now? Safe now.
I can hear you now.
Can you see my screen?
Now I'm seeing your screen now. Yes, sir.
Now, look up. I created this folder, right? Now, I want to call this folder in the Visual Studio Code. That is what we are trying to achieve now. Now, you go to File, you select Open Folder. You locate where you have that folder, then search for the name We. For your own now, you look for the name of your own, like this. I'm taking it afresh. Once I'm done with this, I will just continue. Then you can correct it. Now, this is what you are having now. Look at this. As I hover on this now, your own, we are not seeing this icon. What we are seeing is just this, and this. Probably the way you must have been clicking since you have tampered with it. So what you do now is that you will need... Flourish, I think we may have to stop here because her network is...
Let's schedule the class for tomorrow night.
Yes, her network is not stable, so that she doesn't mean, because if she does not get now, we have to start again. She will not allow us to continue tomorrow. She'll be drawing notes back. So let's just we'll schedule for tomorrow so that we can. So tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. so that we can. So please help me to put the message in the group.
Okay, sir.
All right. Good night.
Good night, sir.